So recently I made a clip. Yes, I made a whole bunch, but there was one clip that I made, which I believe was the Warframe criticism one. Let's talk about Warframe criticism and like gatekeeping, where I kind of like try to explain the middle ground of where people stand when it comes to criticism of a game that's been going on for a long time. And in that video, there was someone who commented, and I'm sorry, I can't remember your name right now, but they said like, hey, can you make a similar sort of video for Overwatch? Can you take a look at Overwatch, because people either seem to really, really love it or really, really hate it. And there's nobody in between. And I said, well, look, I'd be happy to go take a look at Overwatch and see what I think of it. Because honestly, I played Overwatch for quite a bit back in the day, where I played this with a friend group, where every single week we'd get together, like play like once or twice a week, or sometimes multiple days in a row, and we'd have quite a bit of fun with it. That was the original Overwatch. The original Overwatch, which used to be such a great entertainment franchise, and also a pretty decent game. However, that Overwatch was replaced later on with Overwatch 2, which was literally the same game, but then instead of 6v6, 5v5, and there was a whole bunch of things that they promised along the way with like PvE things and all sorts of better updates that never really came to be, which left a lot of people salty. At the same time, the game is also like quite old, and Blizzard has done some oopsies in the past, so right now we have Overwatch right here, and I played it for a bit, and honestly, like, this is my opinion right now. This is the way that I see it. Is that Overwatch, I think, right now, it's kind of fine. It's like, it's out here, it still plays like Overwatch, they added some new heroes around, and honestly, like, yeah, it's unfortunate that everything right now is 5v5. If you go right here to the arcade, which normally used to be your custom game modes, as you can see, everything is 5v5, which means that, you have one tank and everything comes down to the tank, and it kind of changed the composition, but at the same time, also, to me, not all that much. It's like, I never really used the main tank, I always used to be Mercy, like healer, or like Lucio healer, so I used to have their healer around, and to me, like, the healer role is still somewhat similar. And again, I never really got all that deep into it, other than me just like playing it a whole bunch with my friends. But that's been years ago, so right now I'm come back, I'm like, yeah, the characters still kind of play the same, and I'm enjoying it. However, I can also see how people can kind of get upset with it. Because one thing that I talked about today as well is that I think that we're entering an interesting area with live service games. Like, the great part about live service games is like how they're always going to be updated. And every single time they update, they add new things, so that's great. However, every single time you add something to a game that makes it bigger, that also means that the scope gets bigger. And if you only have, like, let's say 10 legends, then, or 10 heroes, and you have a 6v6, then there's always 6 out of 10 of the heroes, like a 6 out of 10 chance that the hero gets chosen. So if you study all these 10 heroes, then you have a pretty good chance, like a 60% chance to understand, like, to have them in the game. I don't know if that works entirely. I'm not mathing today well, but I hope you get the point. It's like, if you only have like 10 heroes to study, and there's like 6 spots, it's a big chance that you're going to counter that hero, so you studying that hero works really well. However, now, Overwatch has been adding and adding and adding and adding heroes over time. And what we see with that is that right now, we're going to have a pretty big roster right here where, there's a whole bunch of characters that were very, very recognizable, like Diva, for instance, or Tracer right here. Super recognizable characters. But then right here, like with Overwatch 2, they came in with Kiriko, which for the longest time, I believe, was just like a Diva reskin. I thought that character was the same one as the other one, but no. They're different characters, alright? They're also like tank and support. But I didn't know, because I was like looking at the images online, and from the images online, I couldn't really tell whether that was a new character or that wasn't. And I think that that's something which, if you're very, very into this game and you really, really like it, like you've invested so much time into it that every single time something new comes out, it's like, yeah, let's go into it, let's do this. And maybe you feel like you deserve maybe more, because during the time that Overwatch 2 was being developed, they really didn't release anything, so you're hungry for more. And because you're so invested in it, you're probably so good at it, you know everything, you love it. Or maybe you're new to the game, or maybe you've been out of it for a while, you come back, it's not really what it used to be. They changed the balance around because they're throwing the balance around all the time, because how can you balance, like, I don't know, 60 heroes, I don't know what they're at right now, to make sure that everything remains kind of competitive in the same way? That's kind of tough, so they're going to play around with that. Or you're coming back and you're seeing that like the balance is all off, and there's new heroes and you don't understand, you gotta go study this. Like, there's such a high task for you. Maybe you're just like, fuck it, this used to be way better. I don't know whether that's the case, because honestly, if I look at this game right here, I just kind of feel not much. It's like, I look at this menu right here, I remember all the fun times that I've had, and at the same time, if I click play right here and I look at like the 5v5s, and it plays fine, but at the same time, it also plays a bit different. I kind of miss not having, not having my robot. My robot used to be great, but it took away my robot's functionality, and now my robot has changed. And yeah, similarly, it's like, yeah, I don't know. For me, I think Overwatch right now is still like a fine game. I think that they're increasing the size of their game naturally over time. And what I'm kind of like hinting at in this kind of weird ass ramble is that I think that with how much they've added, their balancing is going to be rough. They try to adjust that with like the 5v5, and the Overwatch 2 stuff was like really weird the way that it went. And I think that just looking at like like how much time people have to invest, I think that either like if you're really invested in something, you're either gonna really really love it or really really hate it. I think the balancing stuff is definitely something that is gonna throw people on the hate bandwagon, and then the people that are kind of in the middle, people like me who are like kind of sitting there just like, yeah, you know, I had some fun times with it, but also like I don't really know if I want to like learn 10 heroes right now for a game that I may sometimes casually play. Maybe those people are kind of left by the wayside, and that's why you have like a strong polarized landscape. Or maybe it's just the creators trying to go for clicks. Who knows, right? So that's just kind of my my quick overview right here of Overwatch for like the one commenter who was asking me to take a look at Overwatch. We played a little bit here with Wood, and I had some fun, but also at the same time, it's like, yeah, still just Overwatch.